I'm Scott, and this is episode 25 of What Makes This Map Great. This is the series where we take a deep dive into some classic games that hold a special place in my gaming heart. We're going to explore their amazing level design, beautiful art, creative combat encounters, as well as uncover their secrets and see just how much they've influenced the gaming world. And in this episode, we're covering Quake E4M6, the Pain Maze. All sources used for this video will be linked down in the description below. Like, sub, do all the YouTube stuff. It's greatly appreciated. Let's get into it. First, I need to apologize. In the last episode of this series, I said that I would be covering the secret level of episode 4 called The Nameless City. I then started playing through the map multiple times, as I usually do, gathering B-roll, things like that, and writing my script, and I just came to the conclusion that The Nameless City is not a great map. I don't want to spend a lot of time on it, but in short, there's like only one really good payoff moment. It's when you teleport into this underground temple. There's an altar with the silver key and enemies start spawning in. It's really cool, but other than that, the map is kind of boring. I think it's the curse that Sandy Petersen has to bear. He was responsible for creating all of the city maps in Doom 2, and here I think he was trying to recreate a city-like map in Quake, and that was just really hard to do with the limited tech of the time. It just doesn't hit. Okay, back to the Pain Maze. The Pain Maze is the 6th map of episode 4, the Elder World for Quake. And we're getting a good serving of pain from the lover of Lovecraftian mythos, Sandy Petersen. The level is filled with evil crypts and shrines and revolves around a grand central chamber hosting a large lake of water. You'll be revisiting this spot as you obtain the gold and silver keys to proceed through the map. There's also a unique mechanic. Outside of collecting the keys, you'll need to defile a couple of unholy altars. That's gonna piss off Chubby. And if evil altars weren't an obvious sign, everything around here is dangerous. There are plenty of traps and monster ambushes. You can expect to encounter rotfish, spawn, tons of them, death knights, fiends, and vors. They'll be trying their best to destroy you and prevent you from escaping the Pain Maze. But don't worry, because we finally get our hands on the rocket launcher. The map has a total of 4 secrets, and we'll make sure to uncover them because they hold useful items as well as power-ups to help you in this challenging map. To give some context for this point of the player experience in Quake, it all started at the Slipgate Complex, a military base that is home to a machine capable of dimensional travel known as the Slipgate. An evil entity codenamed Quake sends its own forces through from the other side, defeating and turning all soldiers into mindless grunts. Ranger, the lone marine played by you, fights their way through with a mission to defeat this evil force and put an end to Quake. You step through the Slipgate and enter the dimension of the doomed, a realm that is home to old haunted castles and dark underground caverns with monsters beyond our understanding. After conquering every obstacle, Ranger defeats Cathan, the realm's guardian, and obtains the rune of Earth Magic. He discovers that a rune of magical power awaits him at the conclusion of each of Quake's haunted lands. Ranger then proceeds to the realm of black magic, where his fight continues through decaying castles, dark crypts, and ominous mansions. Nothing can stop him. He destroys the Vor sisters and acquires the rune of black magic. The rune whispers dark thoughts into your brain and reveals that the Hellmother Shacknews is behind all of this. You also learn that once armed with all 4 runes, the gate to Shacknews' pit will open and you can face the witch goddess herself in her frightful Otherworld Cathedral. Ranger continues his mission, travels through the next slipgate in search of the third room in the Netherworld, a dark and barren place full of vaults and tombs, primal fear in a strange dimension. Surviving horrors of the Chambers of Torment, you grasp the rune of hell magic. Its terrible secrets blight your mind. Gathering the shreds of your courage, you become ever more determined to destroy the hideous creatures whose mere existence threatens the souls and psyches of all the population of Earth. With one more rune left to collect, Ranger continues on through the fourth and final slipgate into the Elder World, where your worst nightmares come true, arcane and abstraction combined, with eldritch horrors threatening Ranger's sanity. This is where our journey takes place. Let's not waste any more time. Let's dive right in. We arrive at the Pain Maze. The starting space is constructed of wooden planks, the flooring giving way to age, with grass growing through its cracks. We're also treated to a mega health, which will help us endure the pain to come. The archway that we came through is well lit. Bones and viscera support its base, making it a dreaded sight to behold. But the way forward is dark, creating contrast with what's to come. And if you look closely, we're also provided a quad damage. Wow, how bad can this be? To make the most of it, let's take a peek ahead. A ring of protection. Okay, this might be bad. This room offers a bit more construction. Tile flooring from the Wizard texture set, as well as floorboards and crown molding utilizing this runic skull trim texture. Those blue stained glass windows make a return as well, providing sources for light. The blue stone pillars help support this wooden structured room, and Sandy got creative with its shapes. But those pillars also play into the combat encounter here. 2 fiends in total await us in this lobby, and the pillars will help provide you some cover options to defend against their leap attacks. There is a secret in this space as well, but we'll uncover it a bit later in this map run. From here, you're given 2 options, an open hallway and a closed door. I like to go right from here. The closed doors open upon approaching them, and we start to transition into what reminds me of a church. Large stone bricks form these walls, with stone buttresses supporting overhead. I wonder if Sandy was inspired by John Romero's medieval Gothic-style maps in Episode 2. Stained glass windows adorn the tall wall, and opposite of it, a pool of water emitting light. Could this be another healing pool? We'll find out a little later. But the moment you step into this hall, a fiend will spawn in to eviscerate you, as well as 2 spawn. We'll be able to backtrack into the lobby room if we need to. By this point, we'll still be quadded up, but let's play it out from here. Grab the mega, and let's get quadded up. Zap these fiends. Quickly open the door. Zap the fiend and the spawn. So from here, I like to backtrack through the lobby and proceed down the open hall from here. This yellow light source feels like we're transitioning from one place to another. This looks like the opposite side of this church-like structure, similar to the one we just fought those 2 fiends in with its stone buttress supports overhead. A Vor patrols. Her labored breath sends chills down my spine. She'll make quick work with our quadded thunderbolt. But what's most interesting to me is this connecting hallway. The yellow light sources continue to lead the way, and the stone brick turns into mossy, green stonework. Looks like a wet dungeon, as we're given two options to proceed. One into murky water, the other through some oddly aligned bars. We'll be going through the bars, which slide open quickly to let us through, but shut permanently once we cross. The height of this room is a nice contrast to the connecting hall. We can see wooden posts and supports detailing out this structured space. A wall with bloody skulls is to the right, and this serves as an ominous warning. We should be familiar with these types of traps from earlier levels in Quake. And opposite of it, another yellow lamp invites us to take a peek over this ledge. Our worst nightmares come true. This basement is filled with spawn. You would naturally want to avoid this, but looking behind, that bloody skull wall moves towards you, ready to push you into this terrible spawn nest. We'll need to think quickly when taking out the horde of spawn, and we should have just enough quad damage to handle it. Quick zap the vor. Grab ammo, follow the lights into the spawn dungeon. Rain grenades down, and clean the rest up with super nails or the thunderbolt. I love this room. It's a fitting environment for a swarm of spawn to live in. It's mossy, wet, dimly lit, with underearth coming through the floor. The yellow light fixtures are a staple to the Elder World. A large one is centered on the ceiling, lighting up these cool-looking pillars. Just the right amount of lighting, too. The corners of the space are dark, which enforce the murky dungeon theme. Some pickups to help recover from this encounter. We've also got a series of buttons on each pillar, which will allow us to proceed. Pressing all four, a lift lowers in this small alcove, revealing the gold key. We grab it. The lift takes us up, and as the wooden panel opens slowly in front of us, we hear a spawn on the other side. And you'll notice that we've returned to the starting area of the map. We haven't seen the last of these damned spawn. We hear more teleport into the lobby below. Pineapple or zap the first couple quickly, and utilize this corner to peek and zap the rest. Remember when I mentioned there's a secret in this room? This is a good time to access it. One of these pillars hides a very small button. It's hard to see it in the dark, but its silhouette breaks the shape of the pillar. Press it, and a wall opens next to the entrance of this lobby, revealing a lift. You found a secret. And while this secret provides a challenging encounter, we're also provided some pickups as well as an advantageous approach to one of our objectives. Up ahead is a shrine to Shub-Niggurath. A bloody altar sits in the middle of this room, with tall stone walls decorated with stained glass windows. I like to imagine that in a modern rendition of Quake, we'd see these monsters performing cultic rituals to Shub. Or maybe other Lovecraftian gods from the Quake universe like Ithagnal or Garath. A place of unholy rituals. And we'll need to defile this altar. Let's play this out. Up the lift. Save your thunderbolt and use super nails. Double barrel if you're desperate for ammo. blast the altar with the double barrel. Now we thunderbolt these Vores. A wall opens up to reveal the silver key. Be careful as you approach it, because right around the corner is a Death Knight on an upper platform. We'll also trip an invisible trigger, which will drop another Vor down by the altar we just defiled. Nasty, but thankfully it's facing away and doesn't see us. Thunderbolt against Vores is super effective. Use nades against this Death Knight. There's enough range to avoid splash damage. We also have some supplies to replenish our health and ammo. One more look at this unholy shrine. If you didn't know how to access the secret, this elevator lift would lead to an ambush from the Death Knight, all while trying to deal with this Vor that drops down without many cover options. Additionally, looking at it from the front, the backlong hall where the secret is located enforces the shrine theme. If you've ever visited a church, it has that same tall, long hall design. Okay, coming up, we have another dangerous encounter. We'll be returning to the side room with the two fiends. This time, several spawn await us to turn the corner. I'm usually pretty low on ammo at this point. A few well-placed nades should take them out quickly. You can always backtrack to the elevator. Keep some safe distance while sending a few nades. Let's take a dip into this water. Maybe it's a healing pool. Unfortunately, this is not a healing pool, but it provides a way forward. A rotfish will try to chew you up here. I like the contrast in this space, utilizing the cool blue tiles with the greenish yellow lighting panels. It's as contrasting as the murky spawn basement. Water and Lovecraft mythos have served as portals to other dimensions. I wonder if this is a small pocket dimension in an entirely different location of the shrine area. Anyways, as you swim through, make sure to look around and explore. You'll be able to surface for some air right here, but be quick. A spawn guards this small alcove. You found a secret, another thunderbolt. Some ammo and health are much needed. We also have a biosuit allowing us to swim underwater a bit more leisurely. And that is much welcomed for what's ahead. As we navigate this tunnel system, we'll arrive at what is truly the center hub of this map. We're usually introduced to central hubs much earlier in map progression, but in the Pain Maze, it comes later. It's an unexpected design. Big praise for making that choice. Surfacing, you'll discover it's a large lake within this unusual underground dungeon. It's massive. Tall white stone brick construct the outer walls, with a large skylight feature above. A mossy platform forms an island with a lift that provides access to a network of thin wooden supports, so long as you have the gold key. And you'll notice these wooden beams have some nice detailed brushwork, metal support wedges that give them the appearance of strong structures. Whoever this contractor is, this is definitely not to code. On one side, we have a Death Knight standing guard on a platform with supplies, including a red armor. A quad also awaits us on a lower beam. That'll come handy. Opposite of that platform, we see a teleport gate guarded by another Death Knight, and it appears he's standing on a lift that will activate a bit later. We also catch sight of a weapon that most of us, including myself, have been longing for through this entire episode: the rocket launcher. This room also contains 2 secrets. One for that red armor platform, which I'll hint is linked to the ceiling skylight above. The second secret is underwater, which I'll demonstrate when we play through this space. Okay, back to it from that Thunderbolt secret. Dive back in the water, swim through the tunnel. Swap to a shotgun to deal with this rotfish. I recommend saving the Ring of Shadows. We'll need it for a much more dangerous encounter ahead. Swim up onto the island. Gold key lowers the lift. Destroy the Death Knight. Super nails or even double barrel to save on that precious cell ammo. Carefully navigate the beams to this one by the wall. Shoot the skylight overhead. The beam is actually a lift, giving us access to the red armor. You found a secret. Stock up. Save the quad. We'll also need that for a future encounter. The second secret to uncover here: dive back into the water. One of the submerged walls of this central island has a different green moss texture on it. Axe it. You found a secret, with supplies and a pentagram of protection tucked behind the lift shaft. We're going to save that pentagram and the quad for a future encounter, but we will definitely utilize the Ring of Shadows for the next area. Back on the island and take the lift up. You'll walk across the beam closest to the teleporter side and jump to this small tunnel requiring the silver key. Swimming through, we surface and discover this dark wing of this pain maze. It's large and spacious, separated by 2 levels. It's a wonderful combination of the Elder and Wizard texture sets. Tall decorated stone pillars run down the middle, providing support to the upper balcony. The color combinations are also nice for Quake. Jokes of this game being all brown, but here we see bluish white tones from the stone and tiles, with orangish red from the wood. We see Sandy's trademark staircase here, allowing you to see through them, offering a peek of a fiend, which also guards another ring of protection. This space hides a terrible trap. Once you defeat the fiend, the right wall opens up, revealing a group of spawn. We'll get the jump since we'll still be in the shadows from our ring. At the end of the hall is a button, which we'll need to press to continue through this space on the upper floor. But it is also guarded by another fiend. And of course, like the prior, killing it will trigger another trap, spawning a Vor. Just can't catch a break here. At least there is a yellow armor in case your red armor gets shredded. Taking a look at the upper floor, it's dark and foreboding, hosting a Death Knight, as well as a Vor at the very end of it. The L shape of this large space will serve to our advantage, utilizing these central pillars to block any of its explosives. Okay, back to seeing some action. We're still invisible from the Ring of Shadows. Take out the fiend. Press forward, direct nades do big damage to these spawn. Take out the second fiend. Zap the Vor. Press the button. Walls come up. This would be a nice barrier to protect you from spawn if you move quickly through here. Grab this next ring of protection. Up the stairs. Assassinate the Death Knight and the Vor. Great. Still invisible, we'll proceed down the hall to this lift with lots of rocket grenade ammo as we loop back around to that central hub. Another biosuit. Pressing this button will lower the lift leading to that rocket launcher and the teleporter. As you may have noticed, 2 more Death Knights spawn in on those upper platforms, as well as a Vor down below. My favorite play for this is to actually run straight for the quad that we saved. They won't see us since our Ring of Shadows is still active. Then unleash the quad lightning on these monstrosities. Don't sweat it if we lose the quad. We'll get another one. Grab that pentagram protection we left behind. Surface and take the now lowered lift up. Grab that rocket launcher. Step through the portal. We are on the upper platform beams. Another alcove with a water tunnel. It's a short swim that takes us up into another evil shrine. We enter a grand hallway. Large white stone brick walls on either side, with stained glass windows to our right illuminating this unholy place. Great use of lighting, creating a contrasting shadow to the opposite side of the room. These blue stone archways also help enforce this being a place of prayer, if the Vor standing by the bloody altar wasn't enough of a clue. And a set of large bronze double doors are shut down the hall. Approaching it, Sandy reminds us that we need to defile the altar to continue. I never noticed this until this map breakdown, but so long as you are triggering that message, a dynamic light gets turned on and off above the altar to remind you this is the altar to shoot. Oh, and look, another mega health behind the altar to top us off. Thankfully, there's also another quad to the right of the pool we emerge from, which we'll definitely need because this unholy place hides a final terrible trap. These stained glass walls serve as hidden alcoves for more spawn. They will aggro and jump out of them the moment we cross through this hallway. And should we survive this encounter and defile the altar, we'll have one more Death Knight behind those double bronze doors, guarding the final hallway that leads us to the exit archway. Really, this place is terrible. We'll make sure to defile this last unholy altar before leaving this place. Pentaquadded up, we should have no problems, especially with our newly acquired rocket launcher. Plan of action, send rockets to the Vor in each stained glass window ASAP. Don't forget the mega health. Final Death Knight jibbed. And here we are. We've made it to the end of this pain maze. So many challenging encounters, yet we've persevered. I think these exit archways are getting a bit more gory as we get closer to the end of this realm. Bone and viscera hold up this stone archway, bearing the markings of ancient evil runes. Doors are oddly already open, almost like we're being invited into the darkness. We muster our courage and step through. Score screen here, showing off that beautiful central hub with its layered wooden beams and large water feature below. Proceeding through, we enter the final map of the Elder World. This is Azure Agony, a fitting name with this color palette on full Azure display. We'll make sure to cover this grand conclusion in a future episode. So here's the part where I go over some quick trivia regarding our featured map. There's an interesting glitch early on in this map that involves using the Thunderbolt and being able to hit the unholy altar, well, the second unholy altar, through one of the walls. I'll try and keep this short, but essentially the Thunderbolt is broken. There are 3 hit scan tracers that calculate collision the moment you pull the trigger. One of them's the actual Thunderbolt, and then there's 2 invisible ones on either side. Well, those invisible tracers are able to go through walls. With that understanding, going back to the level, early on, when you drop down to that lobby with the pillars and the two fiends, if you were to take the right path where you find the pool of water and two more fiends spawn in, essentially the fiend directly to your left as you walk through that door, if you shoot it with the thunderbolt, more than likely you're going to hit that unholy altar down towards the end of the level. Another way to hit it without the fiend there is it's the second brick to the right on the bottom row. The hit scan of the thunderbolt goes right through the wall and hits the unholy altar at the very end of the map. And this tactic is really to help you sort of optimize your flow through that final area, especially for speedrunners. If you're not trying to go for 100% kills, it'll immediately open up those double bronze doors at the end, and you can skip that fight with the boar, all the spawns that come through the stained glass windows, and hopefully dodge around the Death Knight at the end to get to the exit archway. So, what makes E4M6, the Pain Maze, a great map? Sandy Petersen just totally nails the atmosphere of this level. He cleverly combines different texture sets, primarily the Elder and Wizard texture sets, paired that with really moody lighting, and it just delivers an extremely thick ambience. Some great examples are the dark and dank spawn dungeon, or even the various areas that resemble this unholy place of ritual with their pale stone white bricks and stained glass windows. I'm always a fan of central hubs in maps that keep the player revisiting and exploring new paths from there, and typically they usually come within the second or third room from the start of a map. The map's central lake chamber is the central hub of the Pain Maze, and surprisingly, it comes pretty late within the experience. I think that's really cool and a super effective design method to change things up and keep things unpredictable. And it's cleverly built to provide essentially a navigation puzzle, having to navigate these different levels of wooden beams that give you access to different parts of the map. There's also what I like to call a unique key system. You don't just go grab the gold and the silver key and look for the exit in this map. Sandy also directs us to defile unholy altars to proceed in the map. He goes even as far as to preventing you from leaving the map in the final unholy room until you defile the altar. I love this change up in gameplay mechanics. I think it hints at some of the potential that Quake could have had if it had followed its original game design sort of plan of, instead of being a first-person shooter, it could have been some kind of action first-person RPG. Let's talk about the combat encounters. They are tough, and they force you to use your environment. Think about using pillars to dodge and block those fiends in the first lobby of the map, or even utilizing corners to your advantage to deal with the spawns or even the boars homing missile attacks. You also have to act quickly, utilizing the right weapon for the right moments, and even manage your ammo so you start to really prioritize. I'm going to use the Thunderbolt for the boars and the spawn to kill them as quickly as possible while using super nails to deal with fiends and death knights. You can even go as far as saving ammo by using the single-barreled shotgun to pelt enemies at a distance, if you really want to. But to help you in dealing with these difficult combat encounters, there are plenty of power-ups, and they are placed strategically so that you can use them in different combinations. Think of the pentagram and the quad. to allow you to live out your power fantasies, or even the biosuit paired with the Ring of Shadows, which allows you to be sneaky and stay submerged underwater for longer than you could possibly hold your breath. Like I said, it really does let you live those Quake power fantasy moments. And finally, I want to compliment Sandy's efforts in creating visual storytelling / lore moments in this map. When you approach the Unholy Altar rooms, you always catch a Vor looking at the altar, and it doesn't notice you, right? Because to me, in my mind, I like to think that it's performing some sort of prayer or ritual at the altar. I really do think that Sandy was trying to add some sort of visual storytelling throughout this map, and just the idea that eldritch horrors are praying to an elder god is terrifying. Oh, and that exit archway being open before you even approach it, that's a first, okay? Every map you have to approach it to open the double doors to exit, but here, they're already open. Who opened them? Who's inviting you through? The Pain Maze really shows off Sandy Petersen's mastery of atmosphere and smart level design, all while introducing new gameplay mechanics. It's a tough but extremely satisfying map experience that perfectly fits the Elderworld episode of Quake. What are your thoughts on E4M6, the Pain Maze? Did the Spawn Dungeon give you nightmares or PTSDs after experiencing it? And how did you do in that final altar room showdown? Let me know down in the comments below. I'd love to hear your stories. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button, share it with friends, and subscribe for more Grit Gaming content. And if you're looking for more, check out this recommended video right here. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you in the next one.